on.
It's a launch. It's a launch down.
Okay, perfect. All right, call order zoning appeals for May 29th, 2024. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from May 13th, 2024.
Chairman, I recommend we approve the minutes for May 13th, 2024.
Motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. Noble, and all those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. We need to have I need a motion to request a waiver of Article 5, which is a docketing of a maximum of 3 cases, so that we can hear the 5 cases that are on the agenda tonight.
Kevin, just to clarify, it is the same petitioner for all 5 requests. And they are also the only outside petitioner for Plan Commission, which is the meeting after this. So they won't be delaying anyone else if BZA goes longer. It would just be their Plan Commission petition.
Let's move to approve it.
Motion to approve to waive the waiver. And a second by Mr. Mulberg. All in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Any other special requests or continuances?
None from staff.
Okay. We'll move on to findings of fact. BZA 2024-010 Development Standards Variance for petitioner Larry Siegler on behalf of Shear GW5 LLC for property at 703 North Graham Road.
Chairman, in consideration of the statutory criteria, I move that we adopt the written findings of fact as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record as our final decision of final action for variance petition number BZA 2024-010.
Motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. King. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. BZA 2024-011, a development standards variance, petitioner Eric Prime on behalf of Zinkin and Barker Development Company for property at 5983 North State Road 135.
Mr. Chairman, in consideration of statutory criteria, I move that we adopt the written findings of fact as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record as our final decision and final action for variance petition number BZA 2024-011.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Got no old business. Any old business from the floor? Seeing none, we will move on to new business. We do have, as Mr. Nelson stated, we have 5 petitions from the same petitioner. We have BZA 2024-012, 013, 014, 015, and 016. These are petitioned by Mr. Craig Ilko on behalf of IHR Equity Fund, requesting relief from 5 sections of the Unified Development Ordinance on each petition. Those are a reduction of the minimum allowed lot size from 4 acres to 0.06 acres, a lot width to reduce the minimum allowed lot width from 300 feet to 50 feet. Also to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 1.5 feet. And then to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 12 feet on a side yard setback. And then our rear yard setback to reduce the minimum setback from 20 feet to 12 feet. All those wishing to present, please stand and be sworn in by our secretary.
Do you swear or do perjury? Testaments true to the best of your knowledge. Thank you.
And before we get started, is everything in order? All the notes and receipts?
Everything, notice and receipts are in order and in our file. And I should have brought this up under special requests, but we could probably do it as we approach them. I've talked with the petitioner about lot number 7 and lot number 8. Staff had recommended denial on request number 3, which is for the front setback for lot 7 and lot 8. In talking with the petitioner, they have agreed to verbally to withdraw those two requests. So request number 3 for lot 7 and request number 3 for lot 3. And I'll let the petitioner speak to that and make sure that they're still in agreement with that, but that was our, we had a meeting on Tuesday about those two requests.
Name and address for the record?
Evening, Greg Ilko with Crossroad Engineers, in office at 11547 Avenue, Beach Grove, Indiana, 46107. Representing IHR Equity Fund, XBI LLC, for the Easy Street condominiums development standards variances.
I will go 1 second. I guess Mr. Swinehart.
Yeah, I just want to provide for the record, Eastern Greenwood comprehensive plan, 5 copies, and 5 copies of the Greenwood ordinance.
Thank you.
Could you people please speak a little louder? I've got my.
Sorry, is the microphone not picking up? Sorry.
I can hardly hear him.
Oh, just
It's not on.
microphone not on. Is IT coming out?
Yes.
And just for the last part, that was for every petition, we will put in the file for our records a copy of the comprehensive plan and a copy of the Unified Development Ordinance, which is our approved ordinance for development. So these are available, but it is for each petition that comes before us, these are always added to the records.
Get it?
I don't know, I'll talk loudly.
Okay.
So as Mr. Nelson identified, we do have 5 petitions, 5 variances for each of those petitions, but they're all very related. So I'm going to condense in the interest of time and everybody's sanity, condense these into one presentation where I'm lumping them into lots 6 through 10. So the development, just real quick, location-wise, it's at the northwest corner of the city, on the south side of County Line Road near the western limits. More particularly, we are about 3/4 of a mile east of State Road 135 on the south side of County Line Road. The yellow box is the specific area of interest. You've got 3 commercial developments, office buildings to the north, and that actually there's access to County Line Road from through that development into the condominium development, into the private road Easy Street, which kind of meanders through, and then connects to the public road Easy Street, which runs east-west there on the southeast corner of the property. The current zoning for the most up-to-date zoning map is RMC for the development. Again, the yellow highlighted rectangle is the property limit. We have RM to our west, east, and south, and then CS, as I described, to the north. Going back in time a little bit, I was actually involved with the rezone of the property back in 2006, and the property was originally zoned R1, and we rezoned the southern 6 acres to R3 for residential multifamily use. And then the northern 3.6 acres was rezoned to B1 for professional and office use. And then with the modifications of the UDO updates to the zoning map, we're now the RMC and the CS, which really brings me to why we are here this evening. The originally approved site plan, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that or not, but of this phase 2 of the Easy Street and Park 1401 and Easy Street condominium development, the phase 2 or the southern portion included 7 quad condominium buildings with the private road. And you can see the alignment. We had 5 of the quad buildings to the west of Easy Street. North is to the right of your screen as you're looking at this. And then we had 2 condominium buildings, 2 quad condominium buildings to the east of the Easy Street as it meandered through. So that's the layout that was approved back actually in 2008 with the construction plans after following rezoning, which was late '05. There was some stuff with the floodplain and all that. I won't get into that. But anyway, construction plans were approved in 2008. And this is the originally approved final plat. And it included 3 lots. Again, north is to the right on the screen. 3 lots in the B1 district at the time, which is for the 3 commercial buildings, and then 1 single lot for the condominiums at the time. So it was just lot 4. What happened in 2013 approximately, there was a replat of the lot 4, and this is a zoom in now of just that southern portion of the property. The commercial buildings are to the right of the screen. Again, north is to your right. Lot 4 was split into a common area and then 7 different lots, lots 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, in the anticipation of the construction of the first building, which was on the far south lot 4, which is,
It's actually lot 8.
for my cursor right here is lot 4. And that was the first building constructed. So what happened was it's lot 4. What happened was there was an amendment to the replat of that lot 4 to better to split the actual building into the 4 quads. So what I've got now is the amended final plat of the as-built of lot 4, and this again was in 2013. So that happened here. Fast forward to 2022. The second building had been constructed, and that was with the client that I'm representing. They purchased the property in 2017 after the 2013 building got done in the replats. They came in and developed lot 5, did the same admin replat, and so we have a amended final plat as built lot 5 that again split lot 5 into four quads for the units of the condo building. And the current working plot plan site plan that you see is here, and with the lot configuration, the buildings are basically the same, the layout is basically the same. The only difference you'll notice is on lots 7 and 8, which are the 2 northern ones to the west of Easy Street. So here's lot 7, here's lot 8 right here. Those got realigned just a little bit. So just to remind you, here's the originally approved site plan, and you can see the buildings are oriented more kind of in a northwest southeast direction, going back to the way the lots had been platted back in 13. Those 2 buildings just kind of straightened out a little bit, but you can see the integrity of the existing development still stands. So for each of these lots, lots 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, which are cases BCA 2024, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, we are requesting first, the minimum allowable lot size. Second, the minimum allowable lot width. Third is the minimum front setback. Fourth is the minimum side setback. And fourth is the minimum rear setback. On the first one, the allowed lot line, or the minimum allowed lot size in the RMC is actually 4 acres. With this being a condominium development, the intent of the development was to split the parcels. So you can see to the right of your screen there, that is how the quad building is split, creating basically 4 sublots from the original lot, and that's nowhere near 4 acres. So that is why we are asking for a variance from the minimum allowable to be from 4 acres to be 0.06 acres. That's basically that quad of that one lot. The second variance that we're requesting is the minimum allowable lot width. So similarly to the division of the overall lot, there's a 300-foot requirement minimum in the RMC, and we are needing to go down to 50 feet. I tell you what, I got an exhibit to show you here in a second, to account for the fact that we're splitting that building in half in quads, really. The minimum front setback is, for the RMC, is 20 feet as measured from the local access easement. The original layout and the original development plan and everything, we had those buildings just a handful of feet off the sidewalk, and that was allowed in the R3 for the old Chapter 10 UDO standard, or Chapter 10 development standards for R3. So the closest we get, and it's actually on lot 6, is 1.5 feet from the access easement line. So that's why we're requesting the minimum front setback be reduced from 20 to 1.5. And then the minimum side yard setback, we have 20 foot required for the REMC. We have, as you can tell in the shared, or in the layout, we've got shared driveways, they share parking aprons, so we can't be from the lot line, which splits the driveway, we can't be 20 feet, and we need to reduce that down to 12. And then lastly is the minimum rear setback, which would be basically the east line and the west line. It was platted and approved at 12 feet back in 2008, and 20 feet is the current requirement. So again, similar to numbers 3 and 4, we need to reduce those. How that looks on site, this hopefully this graphic would. So this is lot 6. North is up on the screen here. So Easy Street, the private roadway, is on the right side of the screen. So the first variance, number 1 is you can see the green outline that kind of shows the small postage stamp area that becomes the lot for, in this instance, for unit A. And that is way less than 4 acres. Variance 2 is the magenta, and that's the distance. So this, try to do this on 2 different ways. So the requirement is 300 feet, but you can see as we split this lot for the quads, we need to reduce that down to 50 feet in the worst case scenario. The third variance is the front yard setback. Again, lot 6 is the worst, where we are 1.5 feet. Actually, we're 1.6, but I gave myself 1/10 of an inch of play here. So we're reducing that front setback from the access easement to 1.5 foot in this instance. Now, while I'm on this one, to Gabe's point of our discussions that we had prior to the meeting, lots 7 and 8, which are the 2 northern ones. Let me go to this one here. So this is lot 7, here's lot 8. Those actually meet the 20-foot setback, front yard setback. So we're withdrawing the variance 3 from, that would be petition 15 and, no, 12.
BZA 2024-013 is lot 7.
3 and 4.
And BZA 2024-014, which is lot 8.
So variance 3 will be, we'll request a withdrawal of those 2 variances, or that 1 variance from those 2 lots. And then going back to the exhibit, so variance number 4 is the side yard setback, and that's what I described, kind of splits the driveway. So this gray hatched area is the driveway, and then this is the apron here. So that blue area is what we need to reduce down to 12 feet. And you can see that's realized on both sides of the building, since the garage enters from either side for the 4 units. And then the final one, the 12 foot, is, in this instance, it's along the west side. The rear yard, again, this is a platted 12-foot building setback that we need to reduce from the 20 that's now required in the RDC. So that is it in a nutshell. Do you want me to go through the statutory criteria for each now?
We do, so
Okay.
because I believe, and I've read through your responses, and unless you change your responses, I believe your answers are identical across all of them.
They are.
So what I'm going to ask you is, for your response to statutory criteria, do you confirm that the answers to each will apply to all 5 petitions?
I do confirm.
Okay. So with that, let's go through criteria.
So the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community because the reduction from the current minimum standards, well, I guess I should start, this is the, oh, this is gonna go, okay, yeah. The construction of the minimum, as was originally approved under the previous ordinances back in 2007, and already exists on lots 4 and 5.
Okay, and then number 2, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner because
The existing condominiums on lots 4 and 5 do not meet current standards, were in line with requested variances, and no notable effect to the use and value of the adjacent properties has been experienced with those lots being developed in the same manner to which these variances would allow future lots to be developed.
And number 3, the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the properties because
The development standards within the current municipal code are drastically different than what was in place when the property was originally developed in 2007. The strict application of the standards within the new code would prohibit continued construction of the condominiums as they already exist on lots 4 and 5.
and then the structure is not regulated under Indiana Code 8-21-10-3 for hazard air navigation.
That is correct.
Okay, so we have the same answer for all 5 petitions, for all 5 requests within all 5 petitions.
Correct, and the staff reports will be admitted as evidence, and each staff report captures the statements provided by the petitioner.
Thank you, Mr. Ilko. Anything else you'd like to add?
Not at this time.
I'll ask once again, anybody else wishing to have anything to say on this petition? All right, I need you all to stand and be sworn in by our secretary.
Do you swear to use perjury, testimony to the best of your knowledge? Thank you.
All right, who wants to go first?
Just for multiple petitioners, I will just remind you that you do have a 15-minute time limit for the first go-around of this process. That 15 minutes is shared between all petitioners, so if there is something that has already been stated, and you may want to allow someone else to speak that might have a new thought or idea that hasn't already been shared.
Okay, may I direct a question to him
You may
prior to,
speak at the mic. You can definitely during your 15 minutes ask a question, and then during the 5 minutes for the petitioner, he may choose to respond.
Yeah, he'll have the ability to, you can ask questions, we'll give him time to respond to that.
okay, so that works. My name is Chris Elliott, 1375 Easy Street, Greenwood 46142. I live in the Rosengarten subdivision and have been working with the development of this property with Mr. Bates here since 2005, so I've been deeply involved in everything that's going on. I have a site dimensional plan from 2007 from Crossroads Engineering, and the first thing I'm bringing up is the lot numbers on this do not match the lot numbers that he expressed. And in the paperwork that I've got about the meeting, it talks about lot 8 being a lot larger. According to this, lot 8 is the first condominium that was built on the project, and it's the first one north of the detention pond. The one that was built secondly, according to this, is lot 7. The one that he's talking about is being lot 8 on this is lot number 4. So we've got some discrepancies here that need to be corrected. It's not part of my presentation. It's information that we need to address. And because of that, the information I received from the plan commissioner is incorrect because of the lot numbers. So, okay, my first order of business is like I said, I've been involved with this since 2005. The original developer worked with my myself and Mr. Bates in developing the unit and getting it to a point where the residents on either side, Beaumont subdivision, and on the east side, Rose Garden subdivision, accepted it. We're happy with it and agreed to not fight the development. Part of that comes in the next meeting, which is the age limitation. I really don't understand where the extra 2 units are going to be from the presentation we had previously. So I don't know how that impacts. The information is, to me, rather vague.
Sir, if I may, the 2 lots that they're requesting will come with the plan commission petition. This is just for the items that are being requested for the 5 variances for the lots. That would be at the plan commission meeting that you'll have an opportunity to speak about the lots and the 55+ requirement.
This is not a plan commission meeting.
No, this is the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, and we are discussing the items that the petitioner presented.
Another concern I've got is if this property were to change hands before it gets developed, how do we protect the development to keep it as stated by this gentleman?
Okay.
Any answers?
We'll respond after all the public hearing.
Okay. Another concern of mine, another resident that's here this evening, I don't know if there's anybody else from Rose Garden here. Okay. Well, we've got 4 ups here. Is the additional building is going to cause additional runoff. When this all began, the Department of Natural Resources got involved.
Sir, the additional
Again.
building is not up for discussion at this time.
Okay, I'm
It is
concerned
about
about
the-
water drainage.
Yes, but that is not up for discussion at this time. We can talk about it at the plan commission meeting.
Okay, well then, do any of you guys have anything that you want to come up here and talk?
And we've got 10 minutes.
I'll be brief. Hello, my name is Russell Christie. I live at 1411 Easy Street, Greenwood, Indiana. I am the house right next to the pond. I just have 2 things, and I'm sure there's a planning commission, but I do want you guys to consider, because I know that there's an HOA there, or supposedly an HOA. So whoever owns it now, I've tried to contact the guy. I can't get a hold of him. I can't get a hold of anybody that manages the property. If there's a problem, we need somebody to be able to get a hold of it and not just take my voicemail and let it go. I've had a couple of issues with that property, or trying to get answers, especially like this new HOA that just blossomed. People have moved in to these established houses. Great neighbors, love them to death. They're all great. But they have people come over, they have people come in, and if they park on the street, Easy Street, they get fined. So people are parking in front of my house. That's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna have 6 or 7 cars lined up in front of my house for weeks at a time. So I would rather you guys make parking and maybe eliminate a building or change it around and give some more parking to the residents, because they pile up in front of my house. So those are the only 2 things. I would like a contact number for whoever's in charge of this, so I can contact them in case there's a problem. And I'd also like somebody to consider more parking, so people aren't piling up in front of my house on the street. Thank you.
Thank you. Spates?
Thank you, Ron Bates, 1272 Rosa Garden Drive, Greenwood, Indiana. I know I was on the council when this all came up many years ago. And I understand too that when it did come up, as already been stated, all the neighbors got involved, we had some meetings. We all agreed to this development, 4 acres or whatever the acreage was at the time. We just, and I know this is a little bit different scenario, being a variance, because that never has happened before on this property. But I know the intention was at the time is the same as it still should be. And that's the fact is that we said that the northern part would be business, the southern part would be condominiums, which at that time I know was kind of a big selling item. You had a lot of baby boomers downsizing. But what we agreed to, and this is what's, I guess, disappointing to me, is we agreed to these condominiums being built. We agreed that it would be a gated community, and then we agreed that it would be 55 years and older. Well, maybe that's not for this body here to understand or to be aware, but just so you know what the original intent was. Now we're coming back and we're trying to do something different. And also, even additional to that particular time, there's been a plan commission besides the one that's coming next hour that's actually reinstated that. And said, no, we want
Do
to
you
keep
have
it the
any
way it is.
comments on any of the variances that are being
Yes, I
discussed?
do. I think they should be all defeated. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Ilko, you have 5 minutes to respond.
Very much. Mr. Elliott, as far as the lot numbering, the original plat had the whole south thing lot number 4. So I don't know, I'll look at the plot plan, the site development plan, it might be building 8 or something, but regardless, what is on file and recorded is lot 4. And the way it was platted, the current plat, here's the current plat. It is going from the pond, it's lot 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 and 10 are on the east side. So that's how it's platted. So that there's nothing incorrect, no contradictions for what is recorded documentation. Not that that's relevant to the variances, but I'll take a look at that after this if you don't mind. Maybe I can explain it a little bit better. Mr. Christie.
It affects the variances.
It does not affect the variances. There is an HOA condo association. I will get your contact information and get my client in touch with you. I don't know if they have a management firm or whatever yet. Obviously, there's only 2 buildings, so that's progressing. As far as the parking goes, and Mr. Bates touched on the gated aspect, it is the full intention of the client to follow through with that commitment and get that gate up. I think that might help with the parking, but I'll pass on your recommendations and the issues that you're having, and we'll get you in touch. And then, Mr. Bates, as far as the variances, I understand the issue with the planning commission identification thing, but the variances that we've got here before us want to ensure that it gets built the way it was intended. Again, I'm going back to 2007, 2005 was the zoning. The plans, everything I've got from a variance standpoint, and actually I'm gonna have to come back to you one more time because there's a building height that was overlooked. So there's a minimum building height that anyway, we don't meet the minimum. So I'll be back for you one more time for a building height variance for that single story residential structure. But all these variances will enable us to build this development out the way it was intended.
Okay, thank you. 5 minutes if anyone wishes to respond to that. Okay. Mr. Bates?
Now, this is more of a procedural question, and probably for the term more than anybody else, but if this were to pass this by tonight, it goes on to the plan commission. Plan commission will determine that. What's the variance still stand?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, so the variances we stand, but that planning commission turns down, then, I don't know what that does for them, but they probably can't proceed at that point.
Well, they could proceed with the project. They would not be able, there are two requests on plan commission, and I think we're talking a little bit more about plan commission than we said. But the two requests on plan commission are to remove the 55+ age restriction. And the second one is to go from 28 units to 30 units, an addition of 2 units. They could, if BZA approves this, develop it with 55+ and 28 units. This is just for the dimensions of the site. We're talking about the lot size, the acreage, and the setbacks with this. And that is all that the BZA is currently considering before that.
Jurisdiction over. All right. I guess the one thing I have not gotten before it goes to public hearing is planning staff comments.
Yeah, so I think a lot of our comment can be summed up in the question, how many 4-acre condo units have you seen? Not many. This was intended to be a condo development. They have commitments that commit them to being 1 story, 75% masonry, and the general style that has already been developed on the first 2 lots. Excuse me. In 2020, council initiated a zone map change for the entire city. One that some of our council members here were a part of, that zoned it as RMC, which is for a multifamily apartment. That is why it has a minimum height that he mentioned that says you have to be a minimum of, I believe, 40 feet, 30 feet. Well, you can't have a one-story condo be a minimum of 30 feet. So these variances are trying to get them back to the original product that was proposed. First in 2006, the commitments were put on the petition. It, I think, fell apart during 2008 with a lot of different, the economy was not a good spot to be developing condos. And there are now new owners that are bringing this back up. And then they had COVID, and that put them on a pause. And now they're coming before us to try to get this project complete as it was originally intended to be condos. The only conditions that staff put on these were for there to be a 20-inch grass strip between the sidewalk and the road. Our current standards do request a grass strip so that the sidewalk is not pressed up against the road. The petitioner has agreed to that commitment, or that condition, I'm sorry, to our attorney, I keep on changing what I'm saying, is a condition. And the second one is, you will see on lot 10 and lot 9, we have added another condition, and this is for request number 3. And that is that the petitioner shall work with the city engineer on sight lines along the south side of Easy Street. So that's all that is saying, is when you're driving a car, you're supposed to be able to see a certain number of feet in front of you. So if someone runs out into the road, you have enough time to stop before them. If a building is blocking your vision at a corner, you might not have enough time to stop if you don't have a good sight line. I would want to leave that up to the city engineer. So if he says, hey, this building is not safe for our sight line, I would like a condition in there that says that our city engineer can push that building back further. But with that, we do find that there are substantial hardship. We don't feel that any of these variances will adversely hurt the community. The property values of these condos are high, and it is for ownership. So you buy your own individual own individual condo. So we really think that these are just going to increase the property values in this neighborhood. I also will note with the two that I talked about, the sight line, they are committed to putting up a gate. So we will be working with them to get that gate up, so that will reduce the through traffic in this area. And that's all I had. So we recommend approval of all the variances, and then for lot, for the BZA 2024-012, we have the grass strip commitment, since that one was very tight. And then for 13 and 14, we put, if you approve it, to include that grass strip commitment, but we had originally recommended denial. They have removed that variance completely, and they will have to meet our standards. And then for lot 9 and lot 10, we have asked for that grass strip again, and then we've asked for the condition to be added that the petitioner shall work with the city engineer on site lines along the south side of Eaton Street.
Mr. Planning Director, sorry. May I speak real quick?
The public hearing is closed. Yeah, I apologize. Public hearing is closed.
No problem, he just brought it up. That's all. Same here.
Questions, Mr. Milborn,
No,
Mr. King, Ms. Peters.
Okay.
All right, so I'll reiterate what Mr. Nelson has said. What's before this board is side yard setback, front yard setback, rear yard setback, acre size, and total square footage. Sorry, minimum allowed lot width, 300 feet to 50 feet.
All of those are envisioning a multifamily apartment building.
Correct. And these buildings, to your point, Mr. Nelson, they are all within the spirit of what was planned in 2006, all in line with what's already been built. As far as style, colors, I assume everything is serial code?
Yes, the architectural component will remain consistent.
Okay, then I have no further questions. I will take a motion to admit all the evidence into the record.
Chairman, I move that we admit all the evidence presented in regard to this matter, including the notices, receipts, maps, photographs, written documents, petitioner's application and attachments, petitioner's detailed statement of reasons, the staff report prepared by the planning department, certified copies of the Unified Development Ordinance and Comprehensive Plan, testimony of the petitioner, city planning staff, and any remonstrators, and all other exhibits presented, be they oral or written, for consideration by this board in regard to this petition, and to include the testimony of those present this evening.
Motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Okay. First up is docket BZA 2024-012. There are 5 requests on this one. This is number 1 is to reduce the minimum allowed lot size from 4 acres to 0.06 acres.
Mr. President, I move that we approve this request with the one condition in the staff report, which is there shall be a 20-inch grass strip between the back of curb and sidewalk.
I have a motion by Mr. King with the one condition, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 2, to reduce the minimum lot width from 300 feet to 50 feet.
Mr. President, I move that we approve this request with the same condition.
Motion to approve with the same conditions, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 3, to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 1.5 feet. The front yard measured from platted as access easement.
I move that we approve this request with the same condition.
Motion by Mr. King to approve with the same conditions, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 4, to reduce the minimum the minimum side yard. So it says front setback, but then
It is a front setback on a side yard, and the reason that it is weird is, the condos, there's 4 units that are facing, some of the fronts are actually facing a side yard because their driveway splits down the middle and comes out, so they will still, it's a front yard that's facing a side setback, which we typically wouldn't see.
I see. Okay, to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 12 feet for a side yard.
I move that we approve this request with the same condition.
By Mr. King to approve with the same condition, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 5, to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 12 feet for a rear yard.
I move that we approve this request with the same condition.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn, to approve with the same condition. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. All right, BZA 2024-013. This is for lot
7.
7. All right. Number 1, to reduce the minimum allowed lot size from 4 acres to 0.06 acres.
I move that we approve this request with the condition noted in the staff report.
Motion to approve with the same condition as previously stated on the staff report, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 2, to reduce the minimum allowed lot width from 300 feet to 50 feet.
I move that we approve this with the same condition.
Motion to approve with the same condition, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 3, to reduce the minimum. Oh, that one was withdrawn. Thank you. So number 3 was withdrawn on this one. Number 4, to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 12 feet for a side yard.
I move that we approve this with the same condition.
Motion by Mr. King to approve, second by Mr. Milborn with the same condition. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 5, to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 12 feet for a rear yard.
Move to approve this with the same condition.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mrs. Peters with the same condition. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Next up is BZA 2024-014 for lot 8. Number 1, to reduce the minimum allowed lot size from 4 acres to 0.06 acres.
Move to approve this with that same condition.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 2, to reduce the minimum allowed lot width from 300 feet to 50 feet.
Move to approve with the same condition.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mrs. Peters to approve with the same condition. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0.
Request 3 withdrawn.
Request 3 withdrawn. Request number 4, to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 12 feet for a side yard.
Move to approve with the same condition.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mrs. Peters to approve with the same condition. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Request number 5, reduce minimum front setback from 20 feet to 12 feet for a rear yard.
Move to approve with the same condition.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn to approve the same condition. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. BZA 2024-015 for lot number 9.
With this, staff did have two, on the next two
Mhm.
lots, we have the second condition.
Thank you. Number 1, to reduce minimum allowed lot size from 4 acres to 0.06 acres.
I move that we approve this with the two conditions in the staff report. 1, there shall be a 20-inch grass strip between the back of curb and sidewalk. 2, petitioner shall work with city engineer on sight lines along the south side of Easy Street.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn, two conditions. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 2, to reduce the minimum allowed lot width from 300 feet to 50 feet.
Move to approve with the same conditions.
Motion by Mr. King with the two conditions, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 3, to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 1.5 feet, front yard measured from platted access easement.
Move to approve with the same two conditions.
Motion to approve with same two conditions, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 4, to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 12 feet for a side yard.
Move to approve with the same two conditions.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn. All in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Number 5, to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 12 feet for a rear yard.
Move to approve with the same two conditions.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Okay, 2024-016, this is lot number 10. Staff again has recommended the two conditions to reduce the minimum allowed lot size from 4 acres to 0.06 acres.
Move to approve with those same two conditions.
Second, by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Number 2, to reduce the minimum allowed lot width from 300 feet to 50 feet.
Move to approve with the same two conditions.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 3, to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 1.5 feet for a front yard measured from platted access easement.
Move to approve with the same two conditions.
Second, Mrs. Peters. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 4, to reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 12 feet for a side yard.
Move to approve with the same two conditions.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Number 5, reduce the minimum front setback from 20 feet to 12 feet for a rear yard.
Move to approve with the same two conditions.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. And we'll take a motion to direct the corporation's counsel to draft written findings of fact for all 5 ballots with all 5 requests per ballot.
Mr. Chairman, having considered the statutory criteria, I move that we direct the Corporation Counsel's Office to draft written findings of fact regarding our decisions on the variance requests presented in variance petition numbers BZA 2024-012, BZA 2024-013, BZA 2024-014, and BZA 2024-015, and BZA 2024-016. Said findings to specifically incorporate the staff reports and the evidence submitted into the record for consideration and adoption of the Board of Zoning Appeals as our final decisions and final actions regarding these petitions at our next meeting.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 4-0. Mr. Ilko, you are fully approved to move forward with the staff. You obviously have some more steps with other boards. To Mr. Christie and some of the other comments that were outside this board, I would advise you to get with staff, or in some cases, the city, as far as if there are disturbances to your home as a result of any of this, work with those folks to make sure they are in line. Any new business from the floor for the Board of Zoning? Seeing none, any announcements?
Just an announcement for the people here, for those that were here for the 55+ and the extra 2 condo units, that will be starting up here shortly for the Plan Commission meeting, the Advisory Plan Commission meeting. And then additionally, just an announcement for those in the public, there likely will be additional public notices coming. We talked about the height variance, that there's a miscommunication, it was missed. That variance would be for reducing the minimum height so that the buildings are actually shorter than what our ordinance requires them to be. So I know they'll do their notices, the mailing, the newspaper, and the sign on site. But then for each, or it's already been to primary plat. So that will be, coming. So if you find something else in the mail, that's likely what it will be. But just stay tuned and definitely appreciate hearing your input on these.
Mr. Swinehart, any announcements? Okay. Motion for adjournment. We are adjourned. Stop the recording.